What's up, guys? My name is SnyperSama, but you can call me Sniper. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are rocking my God Roll RNG Insect Glaive build. Now, if you know and you paid attention at the very beginning of the year, I did my series where it was one day, one video for every single weapon. Well, what you may not know is that this Insect Glaive was actually my very first God Roll. Okay, this thing rolled with Black Eclipse and Lord Soul right at the very beginning. I was able to get it. I was super hyped. The issue was because I was trying to make so many different builds, I couldn't sit here and give it the love that it deserved because it is my first perfect roll. That being said, today we are going over the God Roll RNG perfect build in my eyes. So, obviously, we're going to start with the first RNG part, and that is going to be Gormagala's Tyranny and Lord Soul on your Gogma Ardian weapon. On top of that, Insect Glaive, because you have the additional bug, the Kinsect, you need to make sure that you're using Archmaiden. Archmaiden is the best Insect Glaive, or Kinsect, by a mile. And the reason for it is the Harvest Extract plus the Fast Charge Kinsect boost. It's got decent stamina. It's not crazy fast, but if you are fighting a monster in focus mode, your bug's going to come out and hit it anyways, meaning you don't need to worry about your speed or your power. The powder effect is what matters. It is also blast, thanks to our weapon, and not to mention, on top of all of that, it is blunt, meaning there is a chance you KO, which is actually really funny when it happens, especially on something like Arch-Temper Jindahad. Using this build against him and watching my little Kinsect just fly across the screen and smack Jindahad in the head and knock him out. Super funny. I urge you guys to try it. Next up, reinforcement bonuses. Just like I say with every other build, every other God Roll, you do not need 4 attack, 1 sharpness. You can get by with 3 attack, 1 affinity, 1 sharpness. Much easier to roll, also still super beneficial, and removes all of the negatives that come from being an attack-focused weapon. As far as attack focus goes, technically you could use any element or any status that you wanted with this build, depending on what you might have on your Insect Glaive. At least for me, I'm going Blast, and the reason I'm going Blast is because Insect Glaive doesn't do a ton of damage anyways. At least elemental damage. It doesn't do a whole lot of elemental damage. And because of that, why not just build Blast Axe and have an additional 150 proc every so often. Okay, so Blast for me, attack focused, Gormagala's Tyranny, Lord Soul, 3 attack, 1 sharpness, 1 affinity. Ideally, what you get here is 2 attack boost EXs, 1 attack boost 3, affinity boost EX, and sharpness EX. I didn't get that, but beggars can't be choosers, and I still have other builds to make, meaning I'm not burning all my supplies on something I would already deem is perfect. Okay, now, next up, second RNG, Golden Age Charm. Golden Age Charm does not need to be antivirus attack boost. However, I will preface this with having it with antivirus and attack boost is really nice because of the amount of skills that you can put together with all of the level 1s that we have. If you can remove a couple of those is great. If not, you can just adjust the Sheath Jewel here, the Steadfast Jewel, the Sheath Jewel here, or the Protection Jewels. Because of how this build is engineered and set up, there's a lot of level 1s available, meaning you can put all of your favorite skills, meaning antivirus can very easily be slotted in. But God Roll Part 2 is the Golden Age Charm. Something with attack boost 3, and ideally a level 1 and 2 level 2 slots. For a total of attack boost 3, attack boost 4 with the decoration here, and then 2 additional armor slots. The reason we are going for that, and the reason you want something like that over anything else, is because Insect Glaive really shines with raw attack damage. You are hitting so many different parts of the monster that when you're fighting, that you do not need to worry about critical boost. There's going to be times that you hit the monster, and it is going to do so many things like smack everywhere. But the way this build is engineered, especially with the God Roll antivirus that I got, so we get to take advantage of the critical boost. Like I said, there's a lot to this build. Insect Glaive has a lot of working parts. It's still fairly easy to manage. It's still fairly easy to use, especially once you get the hang of the Kinsect buffs. But ideally, what you want to go for is attack boost 3. Make it a rarity 8 with 3 slots. If you can get that, you're golden, because then you can just put in antivirus in those 2 armor slots. Okay. As far as the armor goes, we have Udra Gamma, we have Legiacris, we have the Raidao Gamma, and then we have Gorgreaves Beta. Now, the reason I have it set up like this is because Legiacris is actually going to give us Azure Bolt. Azure Bolt is really, really nice because it's going to give you an additional 15% affinity, as well as is going to do additional damage. It varies when it activates, meaning it is another affinity boosting source. It doesn't last long, but it is there, and stacking it with Blast just means more damage happens the entire time you're fighting. So not only is your Insect Glaive doing a ton of damage, but you have Blast procs happening, and you have Leviathan's Fury activating at the same time, making it to where you can do even more damage. Last but not least, we have the Raidao sets and the new Udra set. These are both just because they had good slots available. Evade Extender, if you don't know, on Insect Glaive is really, really good because it increases the vault distance that you can actually push out when you are jumping through the sky. And then Udra, this is specifically for burst level 3. Insect Glaive attacks fairly quick enough, and because most people do a Rising Spiral / combo, you are going to be able to take full advantage of burst all the time. Not to mention, it's really hard to beat 3 level 1 deco slots. Okay. All in all, this is what I would do. Depending on how god rolly everything you have here, I would say you can drop these 3 Sheath Jewels. Those 3 Sheath Jewels, because we already have flinch free, we don't need to worry about getting hit or hitting someone else. What you need to worry about is making sure that you have antivirus active. If you can make sure that you have antivirus active, you'll be golden, okay? As far as the rest of these decorations go, Protection Jewels, these are Divine Blessing. It's just really nice to have. It is one of the best perks. Mighty Jewels, these are for maximum might. And that is because there was so many of you in my comments on my last YouTube video about Insect Glaive that were like, dude, the combos, you don't use a whole lot of stamina. You can do it. I'm aware, the difference being that's not what that build was for. That's what this build is for. There are levels to all of this stuff that I do when I am creating that let me come up with things in a way that people can progress. I have a lot of friends that when they are playing, they don't like to go 0 to 100. They like to move their way through, kind of go through the motions. Meaning, we have to take things one step at a time, and at least that's how I do it. Okay? Last but not least, we have 3 Tenderizer Jewels and 2 Refresh Jewels. This gives us Weakness Exploit level 5, as well as it gives us Stamina Surge level 3. Meaning, we can still take advantage of Maximum Might very, very easily. As far as the remainder, it's on our weapon. Our weapon is rocking Critical Jewel 3, and there's 2 of them, with a Flight and a Chac Jewel. Flight is super, super important because it increases your jumping attack power, your Rising Spiral Slash, by 10%. Not to mention, Flight can combo with Attack, giving us level 5 attack. Okay, let me go ahead and go back to right here. This is how I have it set up. Meaning, with everything together, we have Critical Boost and Attack Boost level 5, giving us an additional 4% attack, plus the 9, Critical Boost, making our crits go up to 40%, Airborne increasing everything by 10%, Guts, which is increasing everything by 5%, Weakness Exploit is going to be active at all times, meaning we are always at 30% affinity, Maximum Might is going to be at 60% affinity, include Weakness Exploit's wounds, we're at 80% affinity. But that's not where it stops, because it also includes Antivirus. If we remove the second part of Weakness Exploit and we just include Weakness Exploit and Maximum Might, we're at 60%. Include Antivirus, you're at 85% affinity. But you also have Leviathan's Fury, Azure Bolt active. Meaning, Azure Bolt is going to give you 15% increased affinity. Meaning, with everything active all at once, you have 100% affinity. And on top of that, if it is a wound, you're at 120%, or you're at 105% if you don't have Azure Bolt active. So not only do we get to take full advantage of attack boost, crit boost, weakness exploit, but we also get the damage increase from burst, and we have quick sheath to make things a little easier. We have evade extender to get a little more reach out of everything, and we were able to pump out some crazy damage. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and talk to our boy Luke. We'll go ahead and turn on antivirus. And you can see we have 284 raw attack with 130 blast and 30% affinity. What's crazy about this, though, is that we are going to be able to get significantly more than just that. You can see there 54 damage specifically from the Azure Bolt. Let's go ahead and get all of our buffs. And you can see we are 323 raw, 45% affinity, 130 blast, and we're able to do a ludicrous amount of damage. So what I'm going to do is I will go ahead and let me actually exit focus mode. We'll go ahead and get a full rundown of how much damage this can do. So one full combo with a blast proc on this dummy, unfortunately it's not very tall, does 1100 damage. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you think about it this way, we just included a stun in all of it, and we have so much affinity that we can take advantage of everything, okay? This is crazy how much we can actually do, okay? This build, low-key, kind of cooks. I was very, very surprised at how effective it was at fighting everything, because on top of that, you can do offsets, and you can just keep pumping out your damage. Obviously, it's not the greatest to test on the dummy, because you can't really do a whole lot. It's not a super tall monster, but it lets you get the idea of how powerful this build can actually be, because I am able to pump out crazy amounts of damage, and then on top of all of that, though, you have so much mobility. I mean, you can see there, we got a second stun already, and now we can just fly through the air. There's so much that you can do with the Insect Glaive, with this build specifically, and it absolutely cooks everything. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my title update for God Roll RNG Insect Glaive build. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know I did. That is going to do it for today's build. Thank you all for coming to watch it. Thank you all for hanging out. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see all of you in the next one. Farewell.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit.